You are 6 weeks away from the AIIMS 2026 exam, and right now you are probably staring at the entire NCRT syllabus, wondering how you're going to fit it all in your head. I'm going to tell you the harsh truth. Trying to read all 100 chapters cover to cover in this time frame is a mathematical mistake. If you attempt it, you will fail. Look at this digital scorecard mapping the actual battlefield. You have exactly 100 standard multiple choice questions to answer, and you have exactly 120 minutes to do it. Notice the penalty at the bottom, a negative one-third mark for every incorrect answer. This rule means blind guessing actively destroys your aggregate score. Because of that specific penalty, statistical accuracy mathematically outweighs total test completion. You are rewarded for what you know perfectly and punished for what you sort of know to survive. You have to make a trade. You must give up the theoretical safety of trying to study everything and trade it for a much higher probability of mastering heavily weighted priority topics. To execute this priority-based strategy efficiently, we are going to use Ease to Learn. Now let's just pause for a second because this is a really important disclaimer. This priority list is a super powerful strategy, and it's based on analyzing exams from previous years. It's designed to help you prepare smart, especially when you're short on time. But, and this is a big but, if you do have the time, the absolute gold standard is and always will be to cover the entire syllabus. It is a targeted force multiplier designed to automate how you allocate your remaining hours. Cracking AIIMS in 6 weeks is not an exercise in brute force memorization. It is a strict exercise in algorithmic risk management. Let's look at the numbers from this point forward. You must judge every week and every subject by a single metric: return on investment. How many marks does a chapter yield per hour of your study time? This quadrant chart maps the entire NCRT syllabus by effort versus impact based directly on the 2025 AIIMS exam data. Notice the top right zone. Topics like human physiology and physical chemistry yield heavy marks. You focus your primary energy here to secure up to 18 questions per subject. Conversely, look at the bottom left. Environmental chemistry might yield 3 questions. It consumes hours of reading from minimal return, so we deliberately deprioritize it. The strategy is uncomfortable. Securing the top block of high-yield questions requires you to actively ignore low-yield chapters until the final week of your prep. You must become comfortable leaving parts of the syllabus behind. That is the only way to guarantee points in the areas that actually decide your rank. This 6-week timeline shows exactly how to distribute that effort. We divide the remaining days into 2 distinct phases: foundation revision and intensive execution. During weeks 1, 2, 3, your input is strictly limited to the high priority NCRT blocks we just identified. You read, you revise, and you build the core. By week 4, you stop reading textbooks. The transition here is harsh. You move entirely into intensive practice and timed conditions. Week 5 is the mock test marathon. It is deliberately exhausting. You will take daily timed exams with zero room left on the schedule for learning new concepts. The trade-off is clear. You sacrifice late-stage content acquisition in exchange for building the critical execution skills you need for exam day. During that practice phase, passively rereading your notes is an inefficient use of time. It feels productive, but it hides the specific mechanics you don't actually understand. This is where the Ease to Learn gap fixer comes in. Looking at this diagnostic interface, you see how it drills down through a nested hierarchy of subjects. It moves beyond broad categories like chemistry to pinpoint precise mechanical weaknesses like failing numerical calculations. Using these diagnostics requires confronting your failures directly. It pulls you out of the comfort zone of reviewing familiar topics and forces you to fix the leaks in your knowledge. But independent study comes with friction. When you get stuck on a complex concept at midnight, you don't have a teacher awake to explain it. Meet Tony. East to Learn's 24/7 AI buddy. If you hit a wall on the difference between C3 and C4 pathways, you ask Tony. Getting instant micro explanations eliminates wait times and keeps your study momentum completely unbroken. The platform doesn't do the work for you. It automates the detection of your weaknesses and immediately provides the remedy, so you can get back to practicing. Possessing the knowledge is useless if you panic, run out of time, and resort to blind guessing under the lights of the actual CBT exam. This session setup screen and ETL pace is how you solve that. You configure your total time and strictly enforce the negative 0.33 penalty for incorrect answers. Timed practice induces stress at first. That is the point. You endorse psychological pressure. Now, to build the necessary immunity to exam hall panic later. The final requirement for readiness is experiencing the exact digital format you will face on June 27th. Looking at the ETL exam room dashboard, you have full-length CBT simulations ready to go. Practicing exclusively with standard 4-option MCQs in this exact layout prevents any mechanical surprises. You train your eyes and your hands for the real environment. Deliberate exposure to pressure inoculates you against mistakes when it actually counts. Your implementation of this 6-week plan depends entirely on your starting baseline. If you are starting from scratch or feel severely behind your profile, one for you. This curated list of assets in the ETL library is your starting line. You use these concise videos to rapidly absorb foundational concepts. Your directive is simple, except that you must sacrifice low-priority chapters entirely. Spend all your remaining hours securing the high-yield core. If you have already covered the syllabus and are hunting for a top rank, you are Profile 2. You need to live inside this report's dashboard. Use the accuracy, charts, and performance trends to hunt down your remaining inaccuracies and aggressively patch them. The platform adapts to your baseline, but the core philosophy of targeted investment remains identical for everyone. Here is the blueprint shown in this checklist. Algorithmically study high-yield topics, brutally cut low-yield ones, and relentlessly simulate the test environment. The honest truth is that your own hard work and consistency is the unchangeable baseline requirement. No tool can do the push-ups for you. Ease to learn is the intelligent guardrail. It simply ensures none of that hard work is wasted on the wrong topics or the wrong pacing. Commit to this algorithmic approach today. Put in the reps. Trust the data and walk into that exam hall in June 2026